y'all, it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back, y'all. Whew, I have so much energy today. Y'all don't understand. I've been working out consistently, y'all. I didn't hop on my Peloton. If y'all have a Peloton, go ahead and follow me at Necey Dixon, y'all. I didn't watch all the shows. I have screenshots for both of them, and I'm ready to talk to y'all this Sunday, okay? I wanted to call it a brunch at Necey's, but it's kind of after the fact. It's more like a Sunday lunch, Sunday dinner at Necey's. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this review for Ready to Love. I didn't realize that last week they actually did a casting special. So I watched the casting special in addition to this episode that just came out. We'll talk about the people, as it pertains to episode 2. We done already missed the casting special at this point. Hopefully y'all watched both of them. If you haven't, I'll go ahead and fill you in on everybody who was there. Okay. So shout out to y'all who are there early. Brittany, she was here for the thumbnail. Okay. Sam J, shout out to you. Thank you for being the mod on today's live. Berta, Alicia already, Asia, K.A. What's up, faves? Carrie Conversations. It's J Dub. Oh, okay. Can't wait to see what you have to say about Ready to Love since it's in your city, J Dub. So let's go ahead and get into it, but not without me showing y'all this thumbnail. Okay. I'm sure y'all already seen it, but y'all know we got to talk about it live. I was like, what was the main event that happened? Y'all? Shout out to Tisha from Love and Marriage Huntsville. What was the main event? And by the way, y'all, like I said, Super Sundays, okay? So Ready to Love is live right now. Immediately following this live, we will be reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville. So y'all make sure y'all are liking, subscribing, make sure that y'all are connected to my channel because YouTube be playing games. And the next time I go live, I need y'all to be alerted immediately after this video. Okay, so Troy and Corey, are they not one and the same? Okay. I was like, what is the main event? And it had to be this clown, Corey. Everything just seemed so familiar. Okay. And it kind of reminded me of the same type of casting that they did for Put a Ring on It. And I'm starting to wonder, like, is this the OWN network thing? And y'all, I know that OWN isn't the only network exclusive to casting people a certain way. No duh. Okay. Because I know somebody gonna be in the comments like, OWN ain't the only one. But I'm like, have y'all found a formula? Now that we're on the 4th season of Ready to Love, have y'all found a formula similar to the same way that y'all found a formula for Put a Ring on It? For those of you who didn't know, a bunch of drama happened after Put a Ring on It, and I will tell y'all why this is relevant. A bunch of drama happened after Put a Ring on It, and we find out that Alexia and Darian were never really together, right? Darian talks about how he studied the last season and he knew exactly what he needed to do to be casted on the show. So the same way that Darian mirrored some of the characters from the season before him, the same way that they kind of recruited the same types of people, did they do that with Troy and Corey? It was definitely, this thumbnail, I was trying to decide, is it Troy ran so Corey could walk, or was it clown meet clown? So it's something I'm starting to notice. It makes for good TV because we still gonna watch and we still gonna talk about it. Or y'all won't watch, but y'all will watch my review. So shout out to y'all. So Ready to Love, at the beginning of the season, things are kind of all over the place as we get to learn the characters. So y'all stick with me until we kind of get a format for this show. Y'all know it really don't get good until about the middle of the season. What's up, Monique? Monique says production was lame with the Corey setup. Cast isn't even allowed to have their phones during filming. Yeah. Oh, casting isn't allowed to have their phones? I feel like in the past, Ready to Love, they always talk about them texting or stuff like that. But you might be right. Maybe they don't have their phones during filming. I don't know. So production was super lame. Corey was super lame. And I will tell y'all, I picked up on his lameness as soon as I watched the casting special. And I will tell y'all what it was that, made my ears go up like, this man's lame as hell. Okay. So we will go in whatever order I feel like. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Ready to Love, season 4, episode 2. This is pretty much the premiere. And, they open up with a mingling session. Some things happen immediately with this mingling session. You see Sabrina in the orange. She's really pretty. You could tell that she's going to be one of the favorites this season. I'm also pretty happy about that because majority of the time, or from other seasons that I've watched, the favorite typically ends up being the girl that's in her early 30s. And all the men tend to be around their 40s, upper 40s. So I'm like, okay, y'all finally got somebody age appropriate for the men on this show. It's always skewed some way. Anyway, Sabrina's really pretty. You could tell she's going to be a favorite. You see the girl in the pink that's standing next to Sabrina. Her name's Aisha. She was married for 11 years, going through a divorce. She has a thick accent. I don't know where she's from. She kind of reminds me of Alexis from last season. Alexis Fly Jones, she kind of gives me that vibe, very little, very spunky, swaggy. That's what Aisha is giving. And then you see Tyrone in the cream shirt. And then you see Carrington in the suit. Carrington is one of the youngest dudes. I think he might be the youngest dude on the show. So anyway, a few things happen as the couple start to arrive. We see that Tyrone immediately tries to bond with Sabrina over Sabrina being from Korea. Sabrina was born in Korea. She has tattoos on her back. Tyrone starts singing, yes, K.A. Aisha. Bad wig for sure. Yes, J-Dub, she ain't from DC. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Sabrina has a tattoo on her back because she was born in Korea. Tyrone was in the military and he says that he became a man in Korea. So he ends up singing this song to Sabrina. Sabrina was like, I don't know, not a thing. I don't know what she's talking about, right? So that wasn't really the connection we were thinking. And then we finally get Walter. Walter is in this second picture right here. Something about him feels very legend. I said John Legend, very common-ish. He's bald with a beard with salt and pepper. He dresses really nice. He has a nice suit game, okay? And he's definitely going to be one of the men on this show who's going to be a top contender. But I really want to know how Walter is going to play his cards on this show. For those of you who didn't watch the casting special, I will go ahead and cover character backgrounds as we talk about this episode. Walter tells us that he considers himself a reformed thug. He's an entrepreneur. When he said that, I was like, sir, what? Then he goes into the backstory of how he was married before. He was married in his, mid to upper 20s to a woman who he was with for about 9 years. And they were married for only a year and a half when she passed away from a cancer. They were planning to have kids and everything. And since she passed away, so he was 28 when she passed away. He's 46 now. He hasn't been in another serious relationship since then. And he says that he's dodged a lot of bullets. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Okay. K.A. She says, yes, Walter is Joel 2.0. Now, Joel seemed like a really, really good guy. I'm speaking on last season, okay, at the beginning. And I feel like we're getting the same thing with Walter. But what you can see from the previews is that a lot of the women have frustrations with men. And you're seeing that Walter is one of them in the scenes where one of the girls is yelling at him saying, you've been playing me this whole time or something like that. So I think Walter has a good backstory. Walter seems to be a good man. Not only has he lost his wife, but he lost his mother within the past 3 years as well. So red flag number one, okay? Your wife passed away when you were 28. You're now 46 years old. You said you haven't been in a serious relationship since then. And what you ended up saying was that you dodged a couple bullets. So it's kind of insinuating that you were never the issue, that the women were the issue. That's a lot of women to go through over, what is that, 28 to 46. That's almost, 18 years? I'm like, something ain't right. but I'm sure we will find out what the deal is with Walter. Sabrina, like I said, they have an immediate attraction. Sabrina has an 8-year-old daughter. She found out that the man who is her baby father was married, had a bunch of other kids as well. So she kind of just ended up having a kid, don't want to have any more kids, whereas Walter is still open to children, but it didn't seem like it was a deal breaker that she didn't want to have any more kids because she already has a child of her own. So what these two end up bonding over, Walter does spend some time talking to a couple other women. He even talks to Cecilia, who we'll get into next. But anyway, Walter and Sabrina end up bonding. Sabrina ends up crying, telling him about how she's the caretaker for both of her parents. Both of her parents live with her. Her mom is taking care of her father, who suffers from dementia. They're almost 80 years old. She just says it's a lot for her to bear, in that she doesn't really have anybody to talk to about it. So I'm like, damn, Sabrina, y'all, hold on. I cannot tell if this video is actually being recorded on YouTube or not. And if it's not being recorded, then I'm going to have to start all over again. I can't tell y'all. I'm going to worry about it after this live. So let's just pray to God. Y'all pray for me in these comments. I hope it's being recorded. But I don't want to stop talking. So anyway, y'all, she ends up bonding with him, crying, brought to tears. She doesn't have anyone to talk to. And this is the moment where I get the vibe that they are going to be Vernicia and Joelle. They're going to be Vernicia and Joelle. The only thing that Sabrina says that she cannot deal with is a little peen. That's all. Fedora, you are right here. Trauma bonding is never a good sign. I hope that they don't entertain each other. You know they're going to entertain each other, okay? You know they are. So I just hope that this isn't typical. Well, see, Bondi said, you know, it will be on StreamYard, but when I got on StreamYard, as soon as I pressed start on this live, it was like, you're out of space. You need to delete up more space if this isn't being recorded. So I don't know if I can delete space after I finish this live or if it's too late. We'll see. But yes, like Alicia said, please like the video, y'all. It was too much, too quick. I hope that this isn't typical of Sabrina to where she's crying in front of strangers. I'm like, this is cool, but usually the people who start off real strong, something happens in the middle of the season. And Sabrina, I don't want you to claim this as your man too early on, because then you're going to prevent yourself from having other options, similar to how Vernicia did last season. So let's move on from Sabrina and I almost said Sabrina and Joelle, y'all, no lie. We're going to move on from Sabrina and Walter. Let's talk about Cecilia, y'all. This girl, Cecilia, when I saw her in the casting special, I thought that she was going to be like a number one pick because she's thick. You know, she got the wig is laid. She's a pretty girl. And she also is a founder of a tech startup, 33 years old. She also has the age factor because typically we see that the younger women on the show end up being the front runners, okay? So with Cecilia, the more she started talking, I started to see how the men were a little bit unattracted. And I think it's just because she was very forward. She asked a lot of questions. We can get into Carrington in the second picture right here. Carrington is a marketing promoter. Y'all, I don't know what that means. People be coming up with a whole bunch marketing promotion specialists. It sounds to me like you throw parties, you throw Sunday fun days and stuff like that. But you know, you could flip a title and make it sound as good as you want it to. So anyway, Carrington, he's having a conversation with Cecilia and she's asking him plenty of questions. They're not hard questions though. She's asking him about his dating history. Are you a playboy? He says, no, I just don't want to hurt anybody. He pauses. He acts like he really can't even answer the question. He all out says those questions are tough. And I really think that the questions were pretty simple. It was just, she was shooting them out like rapid fire, rapid fire, rapid fire. It kind of reminded me of Simone. the lawyer from 2 seasons ago. So that's the one thing, y'all. When you come on this show, the dudes are usually extremely sensitive about you getting all into their business within the first 5 seconds. So I think you got to learn how to pace yourself. The other thing that was irritating as hell to me about Cecilia is that she came on here kind of knowing in her mind that she was gonna be the front runner. And then in the end, didn't they play her? She said, I got 5 numbers in my phone. We're gonna talk about that, okay? Yes, this one right here. Are you single or is you single? Carrington was like, what? Are you sneaky or is you sneaking or is you linking? Oh my gosh, y'all. Just I don't know. You know them phrases that people be saying on Twitter and then people turn over and put it into real conversations. It's just like, oh gosh, who am I talking to? Now, Cecilia also has her eyes set on Walter. She says that Walter is just exquisite. Now, this is where I kind of started getting irritated with her because with Carrington, I wasn't too irritated because something about Carrington to me feels a little fuckboyish because he didn't really have answers for the 2,000 questions that Cecilia was asking. Although there were a lot of questions, he didn't really have legit answers. But I didn't get irritated with Cecilia until I seen her sitting down with Walter. And she just says, so you're 46 years old, you're open to having kids. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And then he has to tell you that his wife passed away. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know. So Walter, he says that he doesn't mind Cecilia, that they seem to have a vibe. Another thing that I thought was hilarious was Cecilia, Walter, and another gentleman, don't remember who it was standing around having a conversation. And he says to Cecilia, so are you originally from Houston? And he says it with like the most serious tone, like you would have assumed she said something about Texas. And she said, no, I'm from Chicago. Y'all know what it was that made Walter think that she was from Houston? It wasn't that accent, it was that ass. It was the thickness on Cecilia that made him say, oh, she ain't from here, she's from the South. And she was like, no. So that was funny. Another dude who ends up being attracted to Cecilia is Naeem. Don't have a picture of Naeem, but he shows up in kind of like a African oriented top. It's orange, but just the shape of it and everything is very cultural feeling. And he says in his casting special that he's attracted to a heavily melanated woman with natural hair. He don't like wigs, weaves, or makeup. And then the woman who he's attracted to is Cecilia, wearing wigs, makeup. She's melanated, okay? All the women on the show are melanated. This is a black show. So I'm like, dudes like that are always so funny. You come on there and talking about how you love them, extremely natural and all this stuff like that, but you're really just attracted to any good looking black woman. So y'all, we can go ahead and move on from Cecilia. She gets annoying, and this is going to be her demise, okay? Definitely. So now let's move on, y'all. In the midst of all this mingling, we find out from Tommy that 2 people are going home tonight. And I had to say it just like that because Tommy is so dramatic and funny as hell. He says, I got some news for y'all. I told y'all, love is dramatic. Love is this. Not 1, but 2 people are going home. I died laughing. Surprise, y'all. This is the 2nd or 3rd season in a row that 2 people go home. So the other person that we need to talk about, I'm going to talk about the next red flagger, okay? Y'all, okay, we see each other, okay? When I was talking about Nye, in my notes, I said that Nye gives Grand Rising vibes. Nye definitely gives Grand Rising. Good morning, Queen. Okay, so we find out 2 people are going home. The next red flagger that I want to talk about. So in the casting special, Cornelius, to me, seemed to be a red flag himself on his own, okay? And I don't know if it was because of the goofy smile. I don't know if it was because he said that he wanted to get married to make his parents proud. Usually, when I hear a grown ass man say that he wants to be married to satisfy his parents, flags go up in my mind. It's like, are you into women? Or Are you, I don't understand. Okay. And I don't want to label every single man on one of these shows as gay, but it's typically a red flag to me when a grown ass man comes on the show and says that he wants to be married to make his parents proud, or really to make his parents proud. I don't understand that. So, anyway, the other red flag, probably the biggest red flag that I feel like is going to go unseen, is Camille. Camille is 42 years old. She's been engaged 3 times. And she kind of describes herself as a man eater. She acts like she's very into a guy in the beginning, very obsessed. And then usually towards the end, she says, you know what? Never mind. And that's exactly what she did here with Cornelius. She's already claiming him as her man. They do make a cute couple, but she's doing a lot. There was a scene where after they had a vibe, we see Camille, Cornelius, and a bunch of the other singles having a conversation. Cornelius has his eye on Courtney, who's the pretty natural hair girl. She's also one of the young girls on the show, and he was going to go take her a glass of water or something. That was just his way of leaving the table and going to go mingle with some other women. And Camille says, you're not going to go give anybody else a glass of water, are you? You better sit right here. And somebody else was like, oh, you better not get in trouble. Girl, you have known this man for all of an hour. I need you not to do that, because usually that's not cute. Usually the men on this show, whenever they get with women like that who are claiming you from the beginning, who are very possessive, they end up running. I think we seen that last season with Renisha and Joelle. Renisha said she was very territorial. And then even though they ended up together at the end of the season, how long did that last? Because like y'all know, out of all the reality shows I review, the ones where we talk about relationships, the men come on the show and they always battle with being honest or being an asshole. So if this dude is feeling you a little bit and he doesn't want to be an asshole, he might stick with you till the end, but that don't mean you're going to have nobody. You're going to end up looking crazy by the reunion. So Camille, do yourself a favor, date other people. Cornelius, do yourself a favor. Free yourself from Camille. You've only known this woman for an hour. And I said it was giving Vernicia vibes. It was almost giving Denise, okay? If we going 2 seasons back. More so Denise, because Cornelius hasn't committed to Camille at all. So girl, I think you need to pipe down. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything about these two before I move on. I don't think I am. All right, so we're gonna move on from them to now Lamont. The dude who looked like a preacher. He looked like a pastor. He came dressed in his Sunday best, okay? He had awkward conversations all across the board. What we know about this man, his 9 to 5 is in cybersecurity. And after that, he loves spoken word. So similar to how I said Nye is a grand rising type of dude, this is a grand rising type of dude dressed like a preacher, dressed like a pastor. Will you come? Will you come? And I literally knew he was going to be the first person going home. In this first picture up here, you see him talking to Shiloh. Shiloh is an intimacy coach. She's a pretty girl on the show, but I feel like she's gonna be in the middle. She's not gonna be. I don't think she's gonna be anybody's like number one. I think she's kind of gonna coast, and she's gonna coast. Okay, I think she's gonna coast. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, in this conversation with Shiloh, he's standing and talking to her and leaning left to right with his hands by his side, all awkward, like he rocking back and forth with the church choir. I'm telling y'all something in this man. He's from the church for sure with his grand rising ass. So anyway, I knew he was going to go home. He looked awkward, okay? He's spitting bars in his confessional. And then he's talking to Aisha in the very bottom. Aisha reminds me of Alexis Fly so much, okay? She gives lame. I'm sorry. The blonde wig with the long earrings was not it for me. The wig was too big for her skull. This is what I need people to start doing. Get the wigs customized to fit your head. Okay, there's nothing worse than a bad wig, the lace where you can see the screen doors on it, or something that's like just too big. So whenever I seen her talking to Lamont and feeling like she was too good for Lamont, I was kind of like, girl, that might be up your alley. That might be the direction you need to go, because I don't see anything fitting. Okay. So anyway, they're having a conversation and Lamont thinks that he's vibing with Aisha. So then he tells her, I also do spoken word. And then he starts doing the spoken word for Aisha, and Aisha gets offended. And she's like, if I'm having a real moment with you and then you start spitting bars, I'm feeling some type of way. I didn't think it was that serious. Yes, Lamont is lame, but I also feel like Aisha might be a little lame too. So I really was not bothered by him spitting bars for her, because I don't know, she looked like the type of chick that like to get bars spit to. So I wasn't feeling no type of way. So Lamont and his awkward conversations definitely won't do him any justice. Let's move on to the next scene. The next scene, okay, this is another connection that I wanted to call out, and this is Dante. Dante is a good-looking man. Okay, it's something about the men that come on the show that are bald with beards, and in some of the pictures that they posted, y'all, I gotta say this: Dante looked good, okay, but as far as the cast as a whole, a lot of them take some good catfishing pictures, okay. Bodies were snatched. Faces were looking 10 years younger. Wigs was laid. And then when y'all came on the show, I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not talking about the cast banner, the flyer that came out. Everybody looked a mess in that. But what I'm talking about is on the casting special, whenever they showed you pictures from like Instagram and stuff like that, showing them in real life, a lot of them looked 200 times better than what we saw on the screen. I was like, this is a little much. Yes, filters, but it was a lot. Okay. So anyway, Dante looks good. Okay. He looked better in those pictures. There was one picture where he was wearing a beanie and you could see that beard. And he kind of was giving Ghost from Power in that picture. But here he's not. He's giving Dante. Anyway, he's vibing with Shiloh, and they both bond over the fact that Shiloh is from Trinidad, and I want to call him Deontay because Love After Lockup. Dante's stepdad is from Trinidad as well. So one thing that we learned about Dante is he feels like he's gone through a spiritual growth in order to be better, be a better person, blah, 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 blah. He meditates, he's a vegan, he rock climbs and all that other stuff. So I think he likes Shiloh, and I think Shiloh might be his speed because she seems to be very spiritual as well with the intimacy coach and all that other stuff. So I think that they're going to get along, but I don't know who else is going to be in his top. What I need all the couples to do is not to commit too early. And I think that Dante and Shiloh are doing the right thing, because you want to play this game strategically. You want to make sure that you're in somebody's top while you get to know other people. So I think this is what we have here. You don't want to do the most. I think Dante and Shiloh are doing it right. Dante and Shiloh are making a connection while they get to know other people, nothing too strong. Whereas we have Sabrina and Walter, who are like, we boyfriend and girlfriend. Where we have Camille, who's like, this my man, but that ain't really your man, Professor Ogilvy type stuff. We don't want that either. So cute scene with them. We can go ahead and move on to the clown of it all, to the clownery of it all, okay? And I think that this makes a good time for y'all to go ahead and like the video. Like the video for me. And for those of you who have made your way in here and y'all missed the beginning of the live, mind you, we going live after this again to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. So go ahead and like this video while we go ahead and talk about this clown, Corey. Okay. Clown, meet clown. Corey, meet Troy. I was like, why did y'all cast the same person again for another season? So remember how I told y'all that I was going to tell y'all the moment that I knew this man was full of shit? I was watching the casting special, and this man says, my name's Corey, and I'm the #1 body transformation specialist in the DC area. Are you a body transformation specialist, or are you a trainer? Okay, you're a personal trainer. I'm like, He talks too much. I was definitely picking up on that from the very beginning. Before he started talking, I was like, he may go far. He's a handsome looking man, tall, dark, and handsome. But then once he started opening up his mouth, I was like, no, no, sir, no, sir, no, sir. So we see him making a connection at what I thought was a connection at the beginning with Courtney. Okay. They find each other attractive. They were joking. Courtney is a cool girl. Okay. Y'all see her in the top picture with the natural hair. She's 32 years old. She has a daughter. She was in a relationship. I think she said it lasted 4 years. And they just didn't work out because her baby father basically wanted her to be the same person she was when she was 25. So it sounds like maybe she just had like a young, wild, and free lifestyle, and the dude she was with didn't really mature at the same speed that she did, which is all fine. But she seems to be cool. She's going to be in the top as well. So I think we see Sabrina in everybody's top, as well as seeing Courtney in everybody's top. So probably 30 seconds after Corey and Courtney have a conversation, he's like, can I get your number? So I'm like, okay, he already getting numbers, right? Then we see him move on to Carrie in the second picture. Carrie, I thought was going to go home pretty soon. Okay. She may still go home next episode because I didn't see her make any connections with anybody. A couple of dudes said that the physical attraction just wasn't there, but best believe it was somebody who was worse. Okay. Carrie wasn't bad, but I'm saying there was somebody who didn't make any connection at all. So after Corey makes a fake connection and offers to go on a date with Courtney, he walks over to the table where you see Carrie in this middle picture sitting next to Courtney. And this dude is so lame. He comes over and he says to Carrie, hey, I meant to give you something whenever you first came in, but I couldn't really give it to you. Do you mind getting up? And the other thing is this dude think he's so GQ. He thought that he could distract Courtney from him spitting game at the girl sitting right next to her by giving her a glass of champagne. This dude, Corey, also in his casting special, there's two other red flags that popped up. He says, I have the 3 6s, 6 foot, 6 figures, and a 6-pack. Boy, bye. You still got a clown mask on, okay? And anybody can see it from a mile away. Whack, okay? Definitely. So he said that in the casting special. Then he also talked about how he's been over 100 dates within the past 12 months and that everything is copy paste up until the point to where he can get them on a date. So he thinks that he knows game. I'm like, sir, go sit your lame ass down. So he asked Carrie for her number, and Carrie is immediately like, I see this big red button on your nose, and you really sitting here acting like you're excited to see me. She's sitting there looking at the red button on his nose. Look at this picture. Okay. So she's like, oh, you are excited to see me? Oh, okay. I didn't know we had a connection. So she ends up giving him her number. He asked her on a date. He don't stop there. He walks over to Sabrina while she's having a conversation with, I believe his name is Frank. Frank was pretty quiet and low key, and we really didn't know much about him. But he walks up over to her, whispers in her ear. He doesn't say, hey, can I have a moment to talk to you? He just says, listen, do you find me attractive? Boy, if you don't go sit your clown ass down, okay? You're walking over like you have some type of swag about you, some type of bald head, beard, looking like you built like you for the NFL type stuff, but you coming over looking like the dude from the Proud family. You looking like the father, you look like Oscar Proud, okay? And you're coming over literally thinking that you have the looks to just say, are you attracted to me? Give me your number real quick. And Sabrina says to him, the physical means nothing to me. I haven't had a chance to get to know you. So finally, y'all, all of the women end up busting his lame ass. There's a conversation between at least 4 women. And that's when Carrie, this is what I like about Carrie, because she saw the clown nose from a mile away. She says to Corey in front of all the women, who are you attracted to? And he says, I really don't know yet. And Sabrina says, well, I thought you were attracted to me because you came over and asked for my number. And then we get Mingling, and Mingling says, oh, well, he's supposed to take me on a date. And then all the girls find out that he's supposed to take all of them on different dates in the same weekend. It is something wrong with this dude. He's lame as hell. And he's literally just another Troy. Instead of taking people on trips, I guess he's taking everybody on first dates in the same weekend. His excuse to all the women was that He really needs the opportunity to get to know them without 18 people watching. He says she may need one date. She may need two or three. She may need, boy, who are you? Okay. So now, y'all, Tommy goes around the house and he asks everyone, who is your bottom two? We find out from a lot of the men, a couple names that go around for the men are Cecilia, Libba. Libba was odd. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all her picture in this next clip. And then we get Carrie. I told y'all Carrie was very average. I didn't see her make a connection, so I wasn't surprised. I was a little bit surprised by Cecilia just because I thought that her thickness would cancel out her annoyance, but obviously not for a lot of the men. Who the men were feeling, the names we kept getting was Sabrina and Camille. Camille is the one who was giving very much Denise vibe. She's very aggressive, very possessive of her men. I say her men. I'm talking about Cornelius. She told the other women that Cornelius was her boyfriend and you knew him for all of an hour. So I think that the men are literally just thinking with the physical because Camille is beautiful. But if you would have talked to her for long enough, you would have seen as many red flags as what you saw in Tessia. I think she's even more of a red flag than what Tessia had going on. So now, y'all, like I said, they're not feeling Tessia, Libba, and Carrie. As far as the women are feeling Walter and Cornelius. No surprise there. I think they're going to be in the top. Cornelius does seem to be like a really nice guy, but something to me just felt a little bit off because he said he wanted to get married like for his parents. And I don't know. Something to me just seemed real off. Okay. Who the women are feeling the least? Lamont, okay, the deacon, as J Dub says, the pastor, Lamont. They were not feeling Tyrone. Tyrone was another red flag, okay. In the casting special, he ends up getting very vulnerable. And let me go back to like the only picture of Tyrone. Oh, y'all can see Tyrone barely. It's this man over here to the far left with the cream on, bald head man. He ends up telling us that growing up as a child, he would see different men in and out of the house. He said that his parents were together for more than 20 years, but it was all fake. And I was like, damn, good for him for having a vulnerable moment and learning more about your childhood trauma. But I'm laughing my ass off because I know you didn't just expose your mama on national TV for having men in and out of y'all's house in front of y'all while being married to your daddy. You dead ass wrong for that. And if I was your mama, I would call you and cuss you out. That was ridiculous. Okay. And for that reason, he doesn't trust women. But I always feel like it's two sides to a story. Ain't no woman with common sense, regular ass woman, gonna have men in and out of the house while she's married in front of her children, unless there was some sort of absence. Where was your father? Okay. Why did your mom feel comfortable enough to do that? So I was kind of like, sir, I know you ain't exposed your mom. I was really feeling for his mom. So anyway, yeah, it's his mama like, how did I get into this? Mama gotta have a life too. Facts, okay. So yeah, it was weird that he brought that up, but I'm like, best believe your daddy was probably out here too. So anyway, y'all, Tyrone was in the bottom, Lamont was in the bottom, and of course, Corey's clown ass was in the bottom. But like last season, y'all, this reminds me, Lamont kind of gave me the same vibes that Chris, the mailman, gave me last season. He went home the first night. He was a nice guy, but the women didn't like that he was so shy. I knew good and well that they were going to keep the clown keep the clown Corey and send the weird dude home. And that's exactly what they did. But the real weirdo y'all should have been looking out for was Corey. And it's like, please tell me this is director's cut. Please tell me that this is why he stayed on the show and Lamont didn't. Lamont could have made it. He could have made it another week. Y'all know he was going to go home eventually. But I was like, really? So we find out that the two people going home are Lamont and Libba. Libba, I knew she was not going to make it. The foundation was a little bit too light. The bright pink lipstick was not it. The leave out in the edges, that was not it. So, y'all, I just knew she was going to go home immediately, and she did. She had been out of the game for 20 years. She got married when she was 19, married for 20 years, divorced, and she hasn't really dated around a lot. very awkward. Something about her, she kind of reminded me of my auntie. She had an older vibe to her. So Lamont ends up going home. On his way out, he definitely doesn't forget to spit some bars, some spoken word, and he was dead ass serious. It was funny. Then Libba, her reaction, yes, Amethyst, ditzy is the word. Her reaction to her being sent home, I was like, this is why. Tommy says, and the woman that's going home is Libba. And Libba says, oh, Cali girl, thank you. Libba wasn't married for 20 years. She was only married for a year. But anyway, she goes, and I was like, girl, if you don't shut your ass, girl, that was so awkward. Okay. So anyway, these are the two to go home. No surprise at all. Like I'm telling y'all, I'm pretty sure it was directors that kept Corey there because Corey is hilarious. He's an F boy, and they know that he's going to make for good TV, just like his brother Troy. Troy was a trailblazer. Troy ran so Corey could walk. Okay. So for those of you who are just joining, this is Super Duper Sundays, Brunch Squad, Lunch Squad with Necey. We are finishing up our review for Ready to Love, and then y'all be sure to get linked in to my YouTube channel, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, because in about 30 seconds, I will be jumping on another live on my channel, and we're going to talk about y'all's favorite Sunday show, or Sundays where I review the show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. So y'all be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and meet me back on my channel so we can go ahead and talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Bye.